Good day, dear learners. I am the senior teacher of Department of Modern Languages and Translation Studies, Kaldybekkyzy. Our discipline is British literature and the problems of translation, and our lecture, the topic of our lecture is Geoffrey Chaucer, life, influence and historical context. The plan for the lecture follows. Introduction to Geoffrey Chaucer, brief overview of his significance in the literature, the early life and the family background of the author, service in the royal court and the military, in the major works of Geoffrey Chaucer, and Geoffrey Chaucer's importance and the contribution to the English literature. Geoffrey Chaucer was born in 1342-1343 approximately in London, England, and died in 1400 in London, England. He was the outstanding English poet before the Shakespeare and the first finder of English language. The Canterbury Tales ranks as one of the greatest poetic works in English. He also contributed importantly in the second half of the 14th century to the management of public affairs as a courtier, diplomat and a civil servant. In that career, he was trusted and aided by the three successive kings of England: Edward III, Richard II, and Henry IV. But his avocation was the writing of the poetry, for which he is remembered, and he is remembered for centuries. Perhaps the chief characteristic of Chaucer works are their variety in subject matter, genre, tone, and style. Chaucer forebears and at least 4 generations were the middle-class English, people whose connection with London and the court was steadily increased. John Chaucer, his father, was an important London vintner and the deputy to the king's butler. In 1338, he was a member of Edward III's expedition to Antwerp in Flanders, now part of Belgium, and he owned the property in Ipswich, in the country of Suffolk, and the London. He died. His father died in 1366 or 1367 at the age of 53. The name Chaucer is derived from the French word chausseur, meaning maker of footwear. The family's financial success derived from the wine and the leather. There is no information concerning his early education, also his early life. But he would have been as fluent in French as in the Middle English of his time. He also became competent in Latin and Italian languages. His writings show his close familiarity with many important books of his time and of earlier times. Geoffrey Chaucer served as a page to the Elizabeth de Beaufort around the 1357, and the Chaucer fought in France during the 100 Years' War around 1359. We know that he was a diplomat and he had a diplomatic mission. He undertook the diplomatic mission to France and Italy. Chaucer served as a controller of customs for the Port of London. He was a member of Parliament for Kent in the 1386. Geoffrey Chaucer wasn't only the poet, writer, but also the skilled diplomat and a civil servant who played an important role in the royal court during the reign of King Richard II. Chaucer began his service to the royal court in the early 1360s, and his work was mainly in administrative and diplomatic roles, which involved managing royal matters and interacting with foreign powers. And Chaucer was involved in several diplomatic missions on behalf of King Edward III and later King Richard II. This mission took him to various parts of Europe, including France and Italy. His diplomatic duties often required him to negotiate on behalf of the English crown, managing relationship between the England and the other nations. Over the years, Chaucer held a variety of positions in the royal service also. What about his private life? He married the Philippa right around 1366, and they had at least 2 children, including the Thomas, a political figure, and his wife Philippa Royd was a lady in waiting to the Queen Philippa. Chaucer's great literary accomplishment is the Canterbury Tales. It's a group of 30 pilgrims gathered at the Tabard Inn, and they decided to tell the stories on the way to the Canterbury, 2 stories on the way to Canterbury and 2 stories back to Canterbury. And in his masterpiece Canterbury Tales, Chaucer mixtured the different genres, and Chaucer didn't compile the full plan for his book Canterbury Tales. The return journey from the Canterbury is not included, and some of the pilgrims don't tell the stories. The use of pilgrimage as a framing device for the collection of stories enabled Chaucer to bring together people from different classes. And one of the unique thing with the Canterbury Tales, it was written in Middle English. And here in this slide you can see the prologue written in Middle English. And let me read the first lines, in Middle English. One that April with his shower zote, the draught of much has pierced to the rote, and buzzard every wine in which liquor, of which virtue and then engendered is the floor. This sounding is a Middle English sounding. And other notable works: An Elegy for Balance of Lancaster, Troilus and the Crusade, the lengthy poem based on Boccaccio's work, and the House of Fame, a dream vision poem written by the Geoffrey Chaucer. Geoffrey Chaucer's work in Middle English helped develop it as a literary language. He blended humor, realism, and social commentary. His style offered insight into the characters. The influence of Geoffrey Chaucer's literature is enormous. Geoffrey Chaucer is considered to be the father of the English literature, and he inspired the generation of writers, including the Shakespeare, and his works provide insights into the medieval life. Geoffrey Chaucer's work are studied and enjoyed today. His storytelling and characters are timeless. His influence on the English language is important, and he remains as a key literary figure in English literature. Thank you for your attention.